Welcome to 101 East. I'm Steve Chow. With its shimmering temples and barefooted monks, Thailand represents the serene and sacred image of Buddhism in Southeast Asia. But frequent scandals involving cash, drugs, and guns have shaken the monkhood to its core. Reporter Pailin Waddell investigates Thailand's criminal monks and meets those on a mission to save the nation's moral soul.
For centuries, Buddhism has shaped the landscape and culture of Thailand. Temples line the river in the capital, Bangkok. More than 90% of the nation is Buddhist and believe in the concept of karma. For every action, there's a reaction. These are the values I was brought up with. I was taught to respect monks as teachers and role models, to honor them as guardians of the nation's moral soul. Monks lead lives of austerity and self-discipline. They live on charity, renouncing worldly pleasures and possessions in place of prayer, fasting, and meditation. Today, 10,000 monks have gathered to perform a sacred ritual in downtown Bangkok. People offer food and money in return for good karma, an exchange known as giving alms. The faithful kneel at the feet of the monks as a sign of respect. But that respect is being challenged as a series of scandals shake the public's faith in the monkhood.
Buddhism in Thailand is more than just a religion, it's part of the national identity. So monks are the caretakers and teachers of the religion. Any criticism of the monkhood or any wrongdoing by monks is seen as a sensitive issue.
But there's another side to the monkhood. Thai media show shocking footage of misbehaving monks every week.
ล่าสุดประเด็นภาพที่เผยแพร่ในโซเชียลมีเดียกรณีพระกอดสองสีกาซึ่งเป็นชาวต่างชาติ
Breaking Buddhist vows of chastity is considered a serious offense. But some monks are also breaking the law.
จับกุมได้พร้อมกับวัยรุ่นอีกคนหนึ่งอายุ 17 ปีของกลางมีปืนด้วยนะคะปืนนั้นไม่หมดเลยฮะนี่เป็น10 กระบอกเลยมั้งเนี่ยโทรศัพท์มือถือพระพุทธรูปแล้วก็ที่สำคัญคือซีดีลามกชายรักชาย
The public watches in shame as monks fight other monks and get arrested for being drunk, eroding the trusted bond between monks and the Thai people.
ไม่โกหกนะอันนี้ไม่โกหกนะ
To understand this deep relationship, I follow someone at the beginning of his journey as a monk. Every Thai man is expected to do this at least once in his life. Some become monks forever, but most men only ordain for a few days as their duty.
To ordain as a monk is to sacrifice. We have to learn to live without desire and teach people about the religion. Monks give up normal life, and without monks, Buddhism cannot survive.
Norpat is spending 10 days in the temple as a sign of gratitude towards his elderly parents. His head is shaved to show that he's abandoning worldly desires.
In this lifetime, you should ordain for your parents at least once. That's my belief. I hope that this will bring us together again in the next life, and that it will bring my parents good karma.
This is his last meal with his family. As a monk, he will follow 227 rules, like eating only before noon and having no physical contact with women. To announce his ordination, he's carried around the temple 3 times, representing Buddha, his teachings, and the community.
I think it's going to be quite difficult. There's a lot for me to adjust to.
Inside, a purification ceremony prepares his heart and mind for the task ahead. Norpat must pledge to resist the temptations of modern life, vows that others have broken. Thailand's most famous misbehaving monk is Nehn Kham, who made headlines for traveling on a private jet, wearing designer glasses and toting Louis Vuitton luggage. Authorities estimate he amassed a fortune of $32 million in more than 40 bank accounts. Police charged him with money laundering, embezzlement, and fraud, but he fled Thailand and disappeared. And these aren't the only crimes he's accused of.
At first, I felt like I fell in love with him. But I didn't know what would happen in the times ahead. I never thought that it could turn out this way.
Nehn Kham has also been charged with having sex with a minor. I tracked down the alleged victim in Sisagate province, where his temple is. She asked me not to use her real name, so I'll call her Dao. She was 14 when she met Nehn Kham and lived with her grandmother who worshipped him. Dao says he would send a car to pick her up for dates.
I'm an adult now. Back then, I didn't know anything. I didn't know that he was taking advantage of me.
By the time she was 15, Dao was pregnant. Recent DNA tests prove that Nehn Kham is the father of her eldest son.
I don't really have a future anymore, but my son, he has a future. It's not like he doesn't have a father. He has one. His son should be doing better. I don't think about anything else but my son. I just want my son to be comfortable. Every time I talk about this, I cry.
This used to be Luang Pu Nehn Kham's temple. This is where he claims supernatural powers, like being able to walk on water or fly. This is also where he asked many to donate millions to him. Now, with him abroad and on the run, the temple is very quiet, with only a couple of monks living here.
A giant Buddha he built here is no longer worshipped. Thai police have canceled his passport, but more than 18 months later, Nehn Kham is yet to face trial. But 101 East tracked him down, living as a free man in the United States. In this footage leaked to us by a follower, Nehn Kham delivers a sermon at a temple in San Diego, California. It's dated October 26th. Although he's been defrocked in Thailand, he still has a large following here. He's been living at his property outside San Diego that bears the same name as his temple. Inside, a large statue is engraved with his name. I request an interview with Nehn Kham, but he flees once again. His time in California may soon be up. Thai police say they're seeking his extradition. Back in Bangkok, I meet the man who brought the Nehn Kham case to light. Songkan Achriyasak is a lawyer who made it his mission to drive out misbehavior in the monkhood.
We never expected it to become such a big case on a national level and worldwide.
Driven by his desire to protect his religion and country, Songkan has exposed more than 60 monks for misconduct in the past 8 years. It has made him somewhat of a celebrity. People crowd into his house asking for help when a monk has done something wrong. Songkan uses the media to put pressure on authorities to act against bad monks. Most of his information comes from his popular Facebook page, where he first raised suspicion about Nehn Kham. But his techniques have attracted critics.
People say, "You're going to hell for exposing a monk." So I turn around and ask them, "Are you really telling me that I'm going to hell?" And instead of answering, they run away, like Nehn Kham's run away.
Because monks are placed above ordinary people, reporting them can upset Thailand's complex social hierarchy. Many say Songkan and his team of investigators are often the only ones who listen.
It's like preventing people from drowning. I take them and guide them to the authorities, and we do it for the good of the world.
But Songkan is not the only one uncovering serious crimes by monks. Another, more sinister case is making headlines. I fly to the northern city of Chiang Mai, where police recently arrested 6 monks, alleged to be running a pedophile ring.
ก็เดี๋ยววันนี้เราจะมาดูเรื่องเคสของตู้ดำกันนะครับ
Major CHAYAKORN MAMUNGPANITARN is the lead investigator.
คดีนี้ก็จะมี
The main monk in this ring is Prat Dudam, and there are 5 other abbots involved. Altogether, there's 6 people. And then there are 8 kids who are the victims. All of them are boys between the ages of 12 to 15.
The boys came forward to the police through a community outreach program. Over 7 months, a team of investigators and social workers gathered evidence against the monks.
We went to the temples that the boys mentioned to us and took photos of the monks. Then we showed the photos to the boys for verification. Dutdam was bringing these children to abbots at different temples in the Chiang Mai and Lamphun provinces so they could sexually violate them. Dutdam himself got money in return, $10 to $15 each time.
The police raided 5 temples and discovered pornography and sex toys. This is one of the accused monks, who was defrocked and taken into custody.
We also found a camera containing photos of naked boys. We found more than 100 boys in these photos. These were kept in their living quarters.
What ที่เห็นหลังกำแพงนี้ก็เป็น1 ใน 5 วัดนะครับที่ตัวเจ้าวาดเนี่ยมีพฤติการรับเด็กจากพระตู้ดำนะครับเอามาล่วงละเมิดทางเพศและกระทำชำเราครับ
แล้วตอนนี้คนยังศรัทธากับวัดนี้เยอะไหมคะ
ชาวบ้านเขาศรัทธามาตั้งแต่ต้นนะครับคือปัจจุบันเนี่ยถึงแม้ข่าวการจับกุมจะออกไปเนี่ยชาวบ้านก็ยังคงศรัทธาเหมือนเดิมเขาไม่รับฟังว่าพระท่านจะทำอะไรไว้
Of the 6 monks involved, only Dudam is in jail. 4 monks are out on bail waiting to be sentenced, while another avoided jail time because he confessed. CHAYAKORN says the Attorney General plans to appeal for harsher punishment.
Our biggest challenge is dealing with the religious institutions. It seems they're more interested in protecting the accused monks.
It's taboo for authorities to put monks in handcuffs or behind bars. They must be defrocked first, which is up to the monkhood itself.
If the police have incontrovertible evidence of such crimes, we don't consider them as monks anymore. If they do something that serious, they are not monks. Real monks could not do something like that.
The monkhood in Thailand has its own justice system. Every province has a committee of monk police who investigate wrongdoing, like this one in Chiang Mai. But when there's criminal behavior, like the alleged pedophile ring, Thailand's official police step in. PHRA MUNEE has been investigating his fellow monks for 20 years. In the eyes of Buddhism, monk police want offenders to gain understanding through awareness of their wrongdoing.
According to Buddhist belief, people who commit crimes are already dead to goodness. So, there is no punishment like execution or hitting or cutting with knives in Buddhist rules. Under Buddhism, we want them to be aware of their misdeeds and take responsibility by being willfully defrocked.
To people outside the religion, this might seem lenient. But in Thai society, being defrocked is a serious punishment. It brings shame to the monk and the community he lives in. This monk has been caught selling food that was donated to him. Both police and military are called to the scene. When questioned, he's unable to recite any Buddhist prayers. He's declared a fake and disrobed. After he's in custody, I'm allowed to talk to him. In response to the number of bad monk cases in the media, Thailand's military government wants to clean up the image of Buddhism. It has set up a hotline to receive calls from the public reporting suspicious monk activity. In just 5 months, they've received 900 calls.
We see cases like complaints about misbehavior with women, misuse of money, gambling, and drugs. These make up the majority of the cases we see.
Inspector General Chachai works with the monk police to investigate complaints. He says his department has resolved about 800 cases so far, but he admits that their power is limited.
The biggest punishment they can get is to be defrocked. After they're defrocked, our job is over.
He wants something much stronger for monks who break Buddhist rules to be punished under criminal law. And Thailand's military government is drafting a bill to do just that. This means breaking a vow of celibacy could result in fines or jail time for the monks, as well as for the women they're caught with. Even minor violations of Buddhist law could become criminal acts in Thailand.
Like if we see that people are putting Buddha images on the ground, this would be illegal and the new law will help us.
This would set a new precedent in Thailand, using the power of the state to enforce Buddhist rules, which critics fear would threaten religious freedom. It's been a week since Norapat became a monk, and he's trying hard to ignore all distractions.
I definitely miss my family. My oldest child is 35 years old now, but I've always lived with my family. But I've just ordained, so of course I miss my family.
His days at the monastery are spent meditating and reading Buddhist literature, and he says it's forcing him to think differently about his life.
I have definitely changed. I followed the precepts according to Buddhism, and I am now more present. I used to drink a lot, to the point that I'd lose consciousness. But now that I've ordained, I know that it's a bad thing. After this, I'm going to change and be a new person. I will stop drinking. Ordination has made me a better person.
Thailand has 350,000 monks. Most, like Norapat, manage to stay out of trouble. Bad monk cases get widespread attention because it's unexpected and shocking. But it's unclear if more monks are misbehaving, or if the modern age is simply exposing their frailties.
My advice to other men is to ordain when you are ready, not when someone asks or forces you to. You need to know what you want out of being a monk and why, and prepare yourself for ordination. That's my advice to them.
In the forest on top of a mountain in northern Thailand, SEMA GATATHAMMO is deep in a walking meditation. He has dedicated his life to Buddhism, choosing to live without money or smartphones, and instead devotes his days to following his faith. But he understands why some monks struggle.
People think that monks should behave strictly according to the scriptures. But misbehavior can happen in every nation and every religion.
He says ultimately, monks are just regular men.
Like all humans, we have different levels of sincerity. Monks are the same. People have big expectations for us, that we need to always be pious, strict. But there will always be times when that's not the case. Monks are just the same as other people.
Though new scandals leave fresh stains on the faith, Thais aren't abandoning their religion. The monkhood is under more public scrutiny than ever, but across society, everyone from private citizens to the government is stepping in to protect Buddhist values. They know the stakes are high. Buddhism and the Thai identity are closely intertwined. And if Buddhism becomes tainted, so too will the nation's faith in itself.